Hello.
I hit the wrong button.
Hello.
He had the wrong. There we go.
Okay, so this will work. Well, we'll see if it works. Hopefully it works. Okay, let me bring up. I got my notes here. So I guess I will intro us off. Welcome to the first Geek Triumvirate podcast, number 1 of 1. I am Nathan. With me is the other 2/3 of Geek Triumvirate, Amanda and Andrew. Say hello.
Hello.
Howdy.
Hello. How are you guys?
Tired.
Pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys had a busy weekend, huh?
We did have a busy weekend.
Mm. Is that the first time you gone to Universal since you bought the pass?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Cool. So, do you guys want to be the ones to explain how we all met?
I think she should.
Or say a little bit about yourself or anything?
Brought us all together.
Start us
Well,
off.
I don't know if I brought us all together. Well, I can. We worked together, Nate. And then I kind of harassed you to watch Doctor Who.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah,
And-
you did, and it was full harassing. It was. I harassed you, and then you lost one of our DVDs.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
And-
and then I think kind of how we started hanging out.
Well, I think we first hung out. You started mentioning like geeky stuff, and then we all met outside of work officially when we all went to that Halloween thing, and you guys.
Was that no?
I think.
No,
that
wait.
the-
Was that?
We went to a movie.
Wait. Was the girl with the dragon tattoo before or after that?
We also went to a movie with Siobhan.
Oh.
Did we go? And did go to a movie with Siobhan.
Was it Transformers?
I don't know what it was, but we did go to a movie. There was a movie we went to.
Yeah, I think it was Transformers.
Yeah, it was Transformers because I think I saw a dragon tattoo like practically. I think I saw it with Jonathan or somebody.
You saw it with Jonathan and us because you got free tickets for your season pass thing.
Yeah, 'cause
Oh,
we
yeah, okay.
went to movie.
Yeah. Okay, that was it.
Yes, but yeah, we did. We drove down to the Halloween thing, and we became friends on that.
Yeah, you guys. They shared some geeky stuff and some non-geeky stuff
We did, yeah.
right away.
We wanted to make sure that
You could
we'd
pass
be
the
friends
test.
forever. Yeah. You passed the test.
So yeah, I
You
mean,
did not
we just.
We just opened the door and just shoved you out.
Yeah, I remember thinking lots of things that I'm glad none of those things ended up coming true. Like I was like in a bad like panic kind of way. So
You could just rode back with anybody.
so
You would have been fine. It's not like we were going to kill you. It's okay. We would have killed you if, you were a jerk about it. We would have just dumped you, out of
true.
the car.
That's true. I could have really
Yeah.
like reacted like poorly or been like just been a snob or just like a creep or like creeped out too much to the point of like I don't want to talk to these people.
Long walk.
It's a long walk back to Tampa.
Mhm.
Yeah, but we ended up bonding over the story, and it was a very fun story. And it allowed our friendship to, it sealed the deal, and we've been friends.
It got past a few things. I think that is definitely like because if you start with somebody like you be friends with somebody for whatever reason, like you like the same thing or you become friends at work or whatnot, but there's usually a point where you're just friends because of a thing,
Right.
but not like beyond that, because then you have to start like getting to like you just don't want to like a lot of people you have to know, or you don't want to know those people enough. That's why you have like
Right.
work type people that you can talk to.
The work people that you don't talk to anymore than
Right,
just outside the work.
And yeah, so it kind of just superseded all like having to go, well, I guess I don't have to like get surprised by anything later. Or maybe I will, I don't know, but that seems to have jumped a couple.
Hey,
I mean,
because
because
it was going to be Rupee and me.
Right. I mean,
That's true.
it became
That's
right.
true.
It allowed for a lot more fun jokes and stuff. So,
That's true.
and it allowed for that, and which has made our friendship so much more fun, I
Mhm.
think.
Yeah, I pretty
And-
much play like I still am playing the one that is always uncomfortable about something.
And I love it. I love our friendship. Yeah, I think that's one of the things because we have that relationship and we're all so fun and we are open about everything is that our friendship has lasted for so long. And I never would have shared a hotel room with some random person from work for
True.
a con
That's true.
if we weren't such good friends.
Yeah,
Whatever.
and traveling and doing cons and that kind of stuff. I mean, that's always like you don't think it should be intimate, but it ends up being. No matter if you
Oh, yes.
even if you don't share a hotel room, but if you plan, a trip in some capacity together, yeah, there is some intimacy, there is some, you have to have some faith in the other people.
Right.
Because things will go bad eventually.
Right. You will know more about that person than what you wanted to know.
I mean, think about if you go on a...
Like using all their data on their iPad to watch the guild.
Is that what ended up happening? I didn't even know that.
It did, because on our way back, like we ended up like all 10 gigs were used.
Didn't we have Wi-Fi there?
We did, but I don't think it was working. So we were like, no, I'll just turn the data on. It's fine.
And that was another thing with that hotel.
Right.
True. Well, think about if you ever go like on a cruise or something, and if you go with like some friends of yours. I mean, if something goes bad on a cruise, you need to be able to rely on some other people if it goes really bad,
Oh,
like you can't
speaking
just
of going bad.
Mhm.
Raise your hand if you've ever ridden the Mummy and not lost your keys.
Yeah.
No, put your hand down. Not you.
No. So, well, hey, you just be glad that one, we're all traveling separately for work.
Yes, I am pleased with that.
More importantly, actually, you should be more glad you're not traveling or connecting with Becky at all because she is Mrs. Gets stuck in an airport for sure.
She has mentioned that. She mentioned that, and then she says you'll be traveling with me a lot. And I was like, how about you tell me when you arrive, and I make sure that I arrive at a totally different time because I want to make sure that I don't have the issues that you have.
So,
I don't want to be around that chaos. I just don't.
I'll have to explain. I'll explain what I'm doing later, but I am traveling like the weekend before to go see my sister and everything. So.
Are you?
Yeah.
That'll be fun.
I'm taking Spirit though, so that's kind of a gamble.
Oh, that'll be interesting.
So.
Left Behind?
Yeah.
No.
With Nicolas Cage, not Cam.
Either one. Yeah, that's true. That newer one. I could just watch the beginning of Lost, and that'll terrify me enough. So, are you guys going to MegaCon?
Yes.
Okay, and that's next weekend, right?
No, that is
April
10th,
11th, and 12th.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
In the 9th to the hotel.
Oh, for some reason it's always been in May or March. I just assumed.
And we know because we booked the hotel for March the first time, but they moved it back, kind of like Dragon Con was moved back.
Right.
It's been like that with all the cons. Everything's been moved back like a week or two.
Well, okay, so you guys are going to be going to that. So that's that same weekend that is not only tabletop day, But around here, I'm basically trying to decide to like cover like Tabletop Day, or there's another con that's in Detroit that's the one that Jewel State's going to be at. That like they just announced.
Ooh.
Yeah, so I'm thinking I'm going to go to that one. Yeah, yeah, it's probably going to happen. Tracy's going to try to get that one of those days off, because it's Tabletop Day, that con that weekend, which I was already thinking about going to because they already have a couple other guests, and I went last year and it was really kind of like so new that it wasn't huge, but it was still really well done.
Right.
Yeah, it's got Jewel State.
And then there's that same weekend I think is also a Toledo con, so I'd still be able to go to that if for some reason can't go up to the other one for some reason.
There's a good bit going on then. Because
Mm-hmm.
I think that same weekend, like they have an anime con in Kissimmee.
Oh,
here.
okay.
So, and I was originally was like maybe we should just go do that, but then they started Doctor Who people started confirming they were going to be there, and I said I'm going to
I
MegaCon.
think it was what, Jenna
Coleman confirmed, and we bought tickets.
It's like a whole it's a whole like a lot of them that for this one or
Karen,
that particular one.
Arthur and
probably Sylvester.
River.
River,
Yeah.
I think John Barrymore, I think again. No.
I'm not sure.
There's at least 3 big people.
4, I think, altogether. Karen, Jenna, Arthur, and then Alex Kingston.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's
there may be, but it's a chunk. Yeah, they're doing exclusive panels and whatnot.
I saw that, and I saw that got a lot of traction on there through them.
It did. Well, what happened is they were doing like the general, like get in line, $25 to guarantee you a seat, and then $75 for the front 5. But that is the guests wanted to do a panel, and that's their fee. So I'm assuming that it's just one of their things. It's like a special guest, like the Star Trek.
Yeah, that's what they posted, was that it's the guest came up with it.
Right.
I mean, I don't understand the whole. That's a lot for just up front. But is it just up front or the panel only?
It's just to sit in the first 5 rows in that panel. You don't get anything else. And what I was concerned about is that there are 2 people, Arthur and Karen, I think, is in that. And they're one of the people that do the trio at the TARDIS in photo ops. And that starts 30 minutes before the panel. So that only gives 30 minutes to do the photo ops. And they only have, like, I think 2 or 3 hours maybe to do photo ops the whole time they're there. And they wanted to book that particular hour for the panel, so I'm not sure how that's going to work out. I would have bought tickets, but I was like, something's going to be cut short. I want to get a photo, and I want to go to that, but something's going to get cut short, and it's not going to be worth the money.
Yeah, I'd say it'd be at least a better. How much are the picture tickets?
The picture tickets are like $160.
Oh.
For all 3.
Yeah, that's a little rough. I'd maybe. Yeah, and then I think we're gonna go probably to the Motor City one in May, which is rolling out a lot of guests as well. Some Walking Dead
That'll
people.
Be nice.
So that's one we've been trying to go. I've been at least trying to go the last couple years since I've been up here, but it always seems to be something going down that weekend. So we have other friends, not only that have gone the last couple years and have a little bit of a hookup with a vendor, but we're going to try to use that to recruit some new people and kind of intro some people into that world, because there's a couple people from like Sons of Anarchy there, so it'll be a good chance to people that watch that show to kind of come along, that we know that may not do any of these other things.
Right.
And for the most part, they're independent-ish. I don't know if they own the company owns them, does other ones, but they seem to have a pretty decent reputation. I think the last 2 years they've had a lot of problems with the lines of getting in, though.
Oh.
I think they got it because they've had. I think last year they had Daryl, and the year before they had a Daryl and a couple other big people. So I think their capacity knowledge is not what it could be, from what I've heard. So
that can be an issue.
Yeah, you know.
It's good to kind of see what the difference is, because from what I understand, last year at MegaCon, the Saturday was so bad, people were in line for 4 hours in traffic before they got to it, and some people were trampled because the convention was held in the north one that we had to walk through that first year. It was held in the downstairs portion of it, so you had to go down the escalator.
Oh.
But they only allowed people to use one of the escalators and only one of the stairs, but not the other side of the stairs. So there was only one way in and one way out, and they were over capacity. And they didn't have any other type of things going on. So they were like, it was too much. People got seriously injured last year, and we need to figure out what to do this year.
Can't be any worse than America's mark.
Right.
No, I mean, but look at, they try they've been doing it a long time, try their hardest, and they can, you get computers down and everything grinds to a halt. I mean, you can only do so much. It's more the reaction that I think dictates where it goes from being bad to worse. Is if you don't try to do anything, or just hope like 2 volunteers are going to explain all that's going on, you're gonna that's gonna linger with people a lot longer than people walking up and down the line saying, "Man, we got computer problems," or this, or it's not that hard to get people in line to become volunteers to explain to everybody why they're standing in line.
Right. It's like
our first DragonCon, we were wrapped around the building.
Right. Right, exactly. It's like when we were standing in line for an extra hour and a half.
Right.
With the MegaCon, there's no reason why you can't tell people what's happening. There's no reason why you can't limit it. This year, they said to avoid the big rush, they jacked up the price 50%. And they were going to limit how many you could buy, but not tell you what the limit was going to be. They're still selling the Saturday tickets. And it's been on sale now for months. Obviously, you're not limiting them. Because if something's limited,
it's like New York Comic-Con.
It's like New York Comic-Con or San Diego Comic-Con. You can buy it only for a certain amount of time. Doesn't matter how many guests you bring on, you can't continually up the limit.
True.
There's got to be a limit, and you can't. Well, to keep this from happening, we're just going to up the price from $75 to $150. Good luck, everybody. It's still going to be the wristband. We're not going to give you badges because we don't like badges.
Yeah, or you can bundle them all together, and then you end up getting people it being one of the days not enough people being there because they only sold tickets and people only went 2 of the 3 days, and then you got a lull in days. You know what I mean?
Right. So, and then that ends up being the issue with places like the MegaCon. It's just not. It'll be interesting to see what happens this year with what happened last year. I'm pleased we didn't go last year. 1, the surgery. 2, if it wasn't with the surgery, I wouldn't have wanted to see that. Because I know the year before when we all went, the Saturday was really rough and we left early.
True.
Even at DragonCon last year, the Saturday got really busy.
Yeah, Saturday.
And it wasn't pleasant. So they've got to figure out.
Even the Thursday at New York Comic-Con.
Thursday at New York Comic-Con was slammed. It's just they have to start figuring out what they're going to do. Right.
Go across the street.
We just have to figure out they have to figure out what they're going to do at some point. Because with the amount of people that are starting to come to them because of the names that they're bringing in, you're attracting a larger base of people.
And they're becoming more popular and mainstream.
Right.
And the norm to the point of you are going to have, San Diego doesn't have to cap things because they sell out so quickly, but they have a number they officially cap out at.
Right.
Same with BlizzCon.
Right.
10,000 ticks, I think.
Right. You don't have to give a number, but you have to give, you have to if you limit it, you have to at one point stop the selling to prove it's limited. And MegaCon is in what, 2 weeks? You have to, not 2 weeks, 3 weeks maybe. You have to, now should be the time you stop selling it. If you say you limit it, stop selling it. Just stop it. Because nobody believes you.
Yeah, and then I think the weekend after the motor, or 2 weeks later, is a Northern Michigan one in May also that I'm going to try to go to. And feels like there's some other like things coming up that I'm not thinking of that I'd like to try to cover type more. I mean, is there anything cool like happening like at Universal anytime soon?
I don't think anything cool. Like right now, they have the Mardi Gras thing going on.
Oh yeah, they just have the concerts and stuff.
Yeah, yesterday we went and they still had the streamers all over the place, like on the ground. It was the first time we rode Transformers yesterday.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was. It seemed like a Michael Bay production. Like I walked out and was like, I didn't realize Michael Bay did that. It was nice though. I mean, it's very reminiscent like of like how everything was done. I was like, they just took out Spider-Man and put it here and just revamped it into Transformers.
I mean, I think the most amusing part about that not only is the actual ride, but the queue story and the ride story are better than the movies, practically.
Yeah.
We didn't really get much of it because it was only a 5-minute wait, so we basically just walked.
Oh, okay.
Do it, but the little bits that we did get to see, it was really decent, yeah. And like there was the decent story of it, like it was. I could see where you can say that. Because even during the ride, the movie, like the film for it was really nice. It was put together. They had
So
a
it
lot
might not
more.
have been a Michael Bay.
It might. You're right. It may not have been, but there was a lot of like action.
No, I'm sure he was involved in it
It's
still.
really shiny and explosions and flip you up over here and do this over there.
I'm sure he approved everything. I mean, they used some of the people from the movies, so why wouldn't he approve it?
Right. Why not here? Add an explosion here.
And we rode E.T. again.
We did ride
Yeah.
E.T. Yeah.
That ride's the bomb. That ride is the bomb.
I love it.
It wasn't as cold this time. Usually it's like 20 degrees in there.
Oh, really? That's the best part about it. It's so over air conditioned for no reason.
This time
it felt like it was maybe about 80 degrees in there, and like there's a whole section where it seemed like the AC had to stop working because it was really hot.
Well, they probably did that because to show
it
that
doesn't matter. It was
dying.
way hot. It was way hotter than normal. It was hotter inside than outside.
No, it's usually always because I think because of that like fog and stuff they usually have it a lot colder.
There wasn't any fog this time.
No.
So something must have
been. It may not have been working, but I was not pleased because it was warm and I wanted it to be cold.
And I think they stopped the rock and roll ride. Because
Really?
I didn't hear that going.
Yeah. Because when we bought the ticket, we went in and took all those Harry Potter pictures, and that didn't go at all when we went in. And then when we were there yesterday, it didn't go at all. We were there for several hours.
Oh, you didn't go to Harry Potter? Oh, you mean the ride wasn't working?
No, the rock and roll. The roller coaster.
Did you guys go back to Harry Potter area?
Yeah, we've done all the Harry Potter rides.
Is it awesome? Is it pretty awesome, that new area?
It is. I wouldn't wait for the Gringotts ride more than like 25, 30 minutes. It's short. It's well done. I mean,
the other one's better, I think.
It is. It's longer, but the effects are great. The little film is great. But it's short. Like, it is really short. Like, it's a wham, bam, thank you, ma'am type thing. Like, it is short.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't wait over 30 minutes for it.
Right, because, like, the other one's kind of like, well, they both have a good queue from what I understood, but the other one is, like, the whole experience of, like, going through the castle and then getting on that,
right.
on the bench and everything, and even that feels like a experience.
Right. Well, it has a queue. Well, you wait outside, and then you go into, like, the little bank portion, and then you go and you can get your picture taken, which is, like, the little security. I'm trying to remember everything. And then You go in and there's
They put you in a mine cart
right.
and simulate you obviously going down to where the vaults are.
Right.
And then it's when you come out, it's all like dank and wet to
Be like
obviously
down where the
simulate
vaults
that
are.
it's underground.
Right.
It's a few miles or however.
Right. And then you have to go up a staircase. It's not like it's not Hogwarts. It's like being in the back room of like a bank. I mean,
Right.
it's good. It's good, but it's not worth waiting over 30 minutes for.
Do the other stores and everything in that new area feel better because they had more expansion? They had room to like build some detail than the other place.
Oh yeah, that is way better. That whole section is on a scale of 1 to 10 is a 10, and the other section in Islands Adventure is probably at a 6 if you compare them. It is just an extreme amount of detail. The back portion where they do like little plays is all covered, so they can do it in the rain. They have the interactive stuff for the wands. They have extra little shops. They have little fake shops for like eel pies. It's nice. It's really nice.
The only thing that wasn't good was the restaurant.
Right. The leaky cauldron wasn't good.
Oh, really?
Food
Right.
up to snuff.
It's fun to be in, but the food wasn't good.
Compared to the Three Broomsticks, like way worse.
It just wasn't good at all compared to like anything.
Oh,
but
okay.
I would prefer to eat at the Three Broomsticks than the leaky cauldron. I'm trying to think of all the rides we did. There's that. We did do the train.
Yeah, well, that's what I was going to ask next. How was the train? Does that feel like a people mover or an actual experience?
Oh, it's an experience. It's if there's a queue, there is a place for a queue. Like, I mean, it looks like if it gets busy, like you're going to be screwed. You might be waiting 4 hours.
Yeah.
But you walk in it like it's a train station. You go up, you walk in. There's not like a 9 3/4 thing. Like you just kind of walk through it.
You just go through like a little like
section, like just
back
a little
alley type section.
Right. That's sad. But the train itself, when you get on it, you get in your little car. You're in with about, I don't know, 5 or 6 other people. The whole ride that has a little window with a little TV screen that gives you like a little ride over into Hogwarts.
Oh, that's cool.
It is a little experience. Though you can get motion sickness. I have discovered that.
Yeah, I could see that happening because it's not a real window.
Right. I was hoping for a real window. I'm not gonna lie. I would prefer just people mover, the motion sickness. But the whole train, it's like the little train. It's like the Hogwarts Express.
So did you guys mostly just do you just did the Universal mostly yesterday?
Yeah. Wanted to make sure that we get all the little stuff though.
Sure.
The dragon does blow fire. I know that we put that up.
I have seen that
that's
before
really
too.
cool.
Yeah.
Right.
The only thing we haven't ridden in Universal is the Minion thing.
Right, that you did.
Don't waste your time.
It's always like a 75-minute wait.
Don't waste your time. I can't believe
It opened like like the park opens up and it's already a 75-minute wait.
Right, that's the first thing everybody goes to.
there.
Well, yeah, because everybody loves that movie and they think it's going to be something cool, and it's far from it.
I'm trying to think of all the. There is, I would say. Oh, their whole little back alley, the Diagon Alley section is fantastic. In there, it's all blacklit. So it's like you're into like a whole dark alley. It's fantastic.
Oh, that's really cool. I haven't seen anything on that.
Oh, I posted pictures of it. You can't tell because they're
not Diagon Alley, Nocturne.
I haven't looked at the pictures yet, and I hadn't seen anything previous of them.
Well, these are the pictures from when we were there several weeks ago. We bought the passes. I took pictures of everything and posted them.
Yeah. Okay. I
Everything
maybe just didn't see that one.
like,
Okay.
and then that Morgan and Books
Yeah, they have
has
Borgin.
fantastic.
Yeah, they got Borgin and Burks, and they have the cupboard where they.
The Vanishing Cabinet.
Yeah, the
Oh
vanishing
yeah.
cabinet in there.
It is really it's nice. That's
Mhm.
a really nice little section, and it seems like they might have AC in there going. They because when we went there, we bought the passes. Like we booked it back there to take pictures. That I would say I think before I ever did that's my favorite. The twins joke shops there.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Weasley.
I think
There's not a lot of stuff to buy, but there's some stuff
It's a lot of the same stuff that you could buy
before.
in the candy store.
in the candy
Yeah.
store in the other park, and then just a little bit of like extra stuff that they did, like the edible dark marks, and then some of the stuff they did in the books and with the puking pastels and the
Nosebleed nougats.
nosebleeds and
And then when somebody buys little tiny
gerbil type things.
gerbil things, they make a big announcement, like they slam on this big bell thing, and they make an announcement to everybody that they're buying their very first one and what the name is and everything. Like that was a really big. I wasn't expecting like to hear like a huge bell
Yeah.
behind me. It scared me.
Nice.
And then
Yeah.
we went into the ice cream shop that Harry was in during the second book, when he spent most of his days while he was waiting for school to start.
Is that what that was?
I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but
It's better. It is much better. You can tell where things are interactive when people get the interactive wands and whatnot.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
So it's nice.
I'm trying to think of the only other thing I think that should be new that I have not seen is they finished like the rest of that like Simpsons area, because I think they added like a ride, like an outdoor ride. I think that was the only other thing that is new that I had not seen.
They have an outdoor ride that looks like
It's
the
like a little-
octopus arms for
yeah,
little kids.
it's like a little
Yeah.
kid thing, like the Dumbo.
Yeah,
cart
but
from-
it's like those aliens from like the
Yeah,
Yeah. And then they just have like the regular. They have little carnival stuff and
They got the Bumblebee Man tacos, the Lard
Mhm.
Lad donuts,
the Duff Brewery and
Yeah.
whatnot.
Buff, Moe's Tavern, and then
The
Yeah.
Krusty Burgers.
the Krusty Burger.
It looks like they're trying to put in a SpongeBob thing. Or will be putting in a SpongeBob thing.
I know there's like a hotel that's gonna have some extra theme. I think they were redoing the Nickelodeon hotel or something.
Again, if they were smart, they'd do Harry Potter themed.
Yeah,
Yeah,
if they were
it's a-
smart, they'd
That'd
do
be
a
up
Harry
the whole-
Potter game.
That'd be weird. I don't know what would you do?
They
Did
sell
you-
that out, and they've sold that out for years.
Yeah, that would be booked out for a long time. Did you see in Poland they have LARPing, like a LARPing thing
Hmm.
for Harry Potter? Yeah, and it's decently cheap. Like it's like $700. You have to obviously fly yourself out there, but you stay in like a Hogwarts type castle, and you make potions and go to classes and whatnot.
Oh,
You
that's
just-
cool.
Sign up as what you want to do, and you can teach dark arts or whatnot, and you take your wand and all your costumes, and you go be a student or a professor.
But I mean, because it'd be weird if they tried to make an actual hotel that was like a castle. It'd just be, or like Hogwarts. It'd just be a lot of.
I think they could just do like a hotel that was just like probably brick on the outside,
Mhm.
and just the interior of it had that feel to it.
True.
And they could do different themed rooms.
Instead of
Yeah.
like they still have electricity throughout. Like you'd still have like
Right, but
the lights, but then you'd also have a lot of the candle work.
right,
The candles
with
going.
little candle the little candle things.
Well,
Little candle.
what if they did it where instead of it being a hotel, because it'd probably be hard to make like a really good hotel without they don't have a lot of real estate anywhere to make something. If Disney could do one, because they could probably build like. But what if they did where it was a bunch of bungalows, and on the outside it looked like his street and all those like little British houses?
That would be awesome.
The inside, each house is themed around either like a character or like a movie and then the whole house, the whole hotel room is interactive with the wand. So you could turn on the lights with the wand. You could make your TV turn on with the wand.
You should copyright that idea right now. So
right,
if anyone
right now,
this
particular YouTube video is that. This is our idea. If you do it, it's ours. Kind of like Andrew's. If they were smart, they'd do a train.
Yeah, they stole my idea.
Yeah, they did. So the main topic we were going to discuss came about because I've been playing like Destiny a lot, and I always seem to compare it, at least in some way or aspects of it, to WoW. And you guys play a lot of WoW, so you have a lot of knowledge of its background and history. And I thought about it because I can't think of any other game, and you can't. I guess it's not one actual game; it's a lot of games over the years. But I cannot think of any game at this point in history that has had such a longevity and a semi-steady audience of players and new people and old people and incarnations, but still managed to, at the heart, be the same game. It's not like a Mario where people are still playing it because it's such a perfect game in the first place, but it's never been improved on. Nobody's making the same kind of money. They're not making money on Super Mario, the first game, the same way like the WoW is basically still making a profit and a audience from one essential setup of a game, which isn't even that inventive. It's not like they invented it, of the massive multi-online player, but
from Rock and Ultima Online and EverQuest, and even Final Fantasy 11 came out 2 years before WoW, and with a sub base, and they're still going. The servers are still up, and people are still playing 13 years later.
I mean, what do you guys think?
They're at like 2.5 million people, but
they're still playing, right? Mm-hmm. It's still not at the capacity of WoW, yeah.
I mean, why do you guys think what gravitates you to that game compared to other games that try to be interactive or make you feel like a part of something that makes you still go back to that game, still go back to World of Warcraft more than other games? Like, can you even quantify why you've still put some? Is it just because you put so much time in? Is it something tangible? And the reason I like this as a topic is because every time I try to defend or not defend like a game like Destiny, which is trying to do a lot of different things, I go back to the fact that I could still play another game that tried to do something similar, Borderlands 2. I could still go back to that game now and grind every single beginning mission and still have as much fun as the first time I did it.
Right.
And somehow they captured something that at least connected to me and a lot of other people that has drawn people back to it and back to it again. So I'm curious if that's part of what happens in the World of Warcraft. Like, once you connect to it, it just, even with all the expansions and changes and things it might change for the worst or better, does it still fun at its core is why it works?
That is basically what it is.
It's still fun. That's why you still got.
At the core, it's still, what grabbed you in is still what grabbed you in, because it's still there in the main data, because
Like
And Warcraft in itself is basically like a tree. Everything is still grown off of that particular, like you said, the beginning missions that the beginning grind. You can always go back and do that very fun thing that you did to begin with. Like the first 10 levels that you play in any new character is always going to be the same basic missions. It doesn't matter. You can go back and play a freaking Blood Elf 1,000 times. You're always going to have the same 10 levels doing the Blood Elf, the same things as always. And for me, I always play a Blood Elf because it's the first thing that I did.
Right.
And that's just it's what I do. It's what I do. It's what I do. And I played it. It's the first real video game that I played with Andrew. Well, not like this. That I played in a manner that I was actually serious about. And for me, what actually dragged me in, I think I've even told you, was the Cataclysm trailer.
Mm-hmm.
And even then, the nostalgia of the music is fantastic for me. And even I can go back and I can play through the Cataclysm stuff, and it's still there. The footprint's still there, because with something like WoW and the MMO, the footprint's still there. What?
I'm checking the play time.
He's checking his play time, because for him it's how much time he's put in, and it's sad.
How much time I'll say put in and not wasted.
Yeah. How much time?
No, put it in. Yeah. So did either one of you have a lot of other gaming experience before World of Warcraft? Not specifically just MMO, but just gaming in general.
Andrew
did.
Andrew played growing up. He's played video games forever.
I checked 4 of my characters that I have played most since the 4 years that I've been playing, and total time across those 4 characters comes out to 148 days.
Dang, that's impressive, I gotta say.
Impressive.
That's why I said
impressive.
That's why I said I'll say time put in, not time wasted.
No, because I know for a fact that in Borderlands 2, that Teresa, like it tracked your time, and I think last I had checked, I was around 23 days, maybe 30 with all the characters, or something like that. No, it's got to have been more than that. But Teresa's is like way past like 50 days. I mean, but that's not a game that's been that old, so that's why I guess it's impressive, because I can't think of any games I've put in anywhere close. This Borderlands is the only other example I have.
Sadly,
he has another game where he has played similar.
Sadly, the first Guild Wars game across Guild Wars and then the 1, 2, 3 expansions that they had, I think I've probably got about the same amount of time in a much shorter time span.
Well, so you've at least gone down that. You've gone down that path a little bit, I guess.
Yeah.
A little bit. Not just MMOs. I mean, you played.
Yeah, I got a Nintendo
everything
for Christmas. I had if it was a Nintendo console or handheld, I had one growing up.
Right, and so would you but I didn't play a lot of games. I think that I can remember that I played 3 years after it came out, other than maybe for like 5, like once turning it back on. I mean, like a Zelda or like a sports game, maybe just, I feel like playing this again, or like some of the Mario games where they're just so perfect that you could pick them up and just play them for fun. But there weren't a lot of games pre-internet that kept any sort of longevity to them,
Well, not for somebody who doesn't play video games all the time. I never played video games. I know my uncle had a Sega, and I know he played Sonic the Hedgehog. I know I attempted to play one level with him, and I didn't play anything. And he has, Nintendo cards.
But you're just farming on that one. I mean, you could do that for years.
I've got the
Right.
gold Legend of Zelda cartridge.
Right. I mean, he has a Harvest Moon. I mean, that is literally farming. Literally farming. That's what he
Mhm.
cosplays as. That's farming. That is farming. But he's always played video games. That's what he does. That's what he's always done.
Now,
And
and it's weird thinking about just the WoWs things now where you like Destiny and other games where you're playing cooperative, but you're still really experiencing it individually with other people from a distance in a way. Is that most of
right.
my memories of those early consoles are not about like, oh God, I can't believe I beat that game after like playing it for like 6 months. It was, man, I remember playing with, we stayed up all night and played Mega Man. Um,
Or LAN
it's a very
parties for.
different experience of like now people want the content to be the experience, and I think those early years, with the exception of a few games, it was a lot more about just playing a lot of stuff with people. That's why fighting games kind of rose, I think, earlier in the day, back in the day. Um,
Fighting games rose just because they were big in arcades.
right, because it was more
If they didn't have
instantaneous,
fighting, if they didn't have any fighting games in the arcades, then they probably wouldn't have gotten as big as they have if it wasn't for arcades.
True. But I mean, I guess it's just nobody thinks, man, I would love to like, I can't believe I spent, X amount of hours playing a fighting game and like beat it all. It's more like your immediate remembering of it is like, oh, I remember this time I beat my friend or I did some cool move. It's not really about the long game with a lot
Right.
of older games. So that's why I'm always curious on, when somebody puts as much time into like, because I know the problem we've had with Destiny is that it's ever changing already, and it never seems to satisfy the audience of what like they're trying to fix stuff. Um,
Right.
that I don't see how unless they change the game almost completely again, how I could play the long con of playing the game for 10 years like they plan. So I'm always curious, like in a World of Warcraft, if it was really that it was never broken in the first place, and that what keeps people around. Because
It's never it's
Well,
never really broken, I don't think. I think it's the masses that there's the issue. Like I say it like this. Like right now in Warcraft, there's the people like me who didn't always play video games, and people like you who didn't always play video games. And we don't have a lot of time to spend sitting playing video games. I don't have 5 hours a night I can't come home and eat a McDonald's hamburger and play WoW until 10 or 11 o'clock at night, go to bed, and wake up, go in, play an hour before I go into work. I don't have time for that. So when I come home, I'll spend an hour maybe playing, and I'm done. So that leads Warcraft to see an issue because a lot of their demographic is getting older. And they have lives, and they work 8 to 5 jobs. So they say, we see that you can't spend 4 to 5 hours in a raid or a scenario. So we're going in or looking for raid, which allows these mass of people who can't do that to kind of queue up, and anybody can go in as long as you're these specific classes can go in and do this. Which it takes out almost all the mechanics, and you can just go in, basically tank and spank, and you're done. It takes maybe 30 minutes at the most. Perfect. That leads everybody to no longer want to do like normal or heroic or whatever is mythic now. So nobody wants to spend the 3 or 4 hours that it takes to do it anymore. They don't want to get gear. They don't want to do it. They just don't want to do it. Lazy. So, and it's become like the lazy gamers, the casual gamers, the people who don't have time for it. And there's the people that, end up playing Destiny and whatnot because when you're done with this, I have time for this. So I should be able to, this MMO that you're trying to, be like, I can do a scenario in 30 minutes here, but can I do it like that over here? And you can't satisfy everybody like that because one fix here isn't going to be a fix over there. Make sense?
Yeah. I mean,
It's just not broken. It's just a need that was
sure.
filled.
So would you say like the expansions and whatever patches have come along the way over like their 10 plus years, like has everyone felt like it's fundamentally changed the game, or is it really felt like expansion in the more purest form of the word, like just added more, but not basically broke or not broke, remove, did it just keep upping the ante, or did it just null and void the previous?
Well, from vanilla, from when it came out to Wrath of the Lich King, the main world that you're on was the same.
Mm.
The quest lines were the same. Everything was the same, barring a few changes here and there. When Cataclysm came out and they reintroduced Deathwing back as the main villain, when he came back, he basically broke the world, which caused a lot of zone changes that they did. They revamped the level 1 through 60 zones and changed the quests. So the quests that pretty much people are doing from 2010 to now are different on some level from 2004 to 2010 because of the story that they added when Deathwing came, like when we did Wailing Caverns or the Sunken Temple, or that one
Where there is
where
water.
me and Donald was like, where did all these tendrils come from?
Right.
This wasn't here.
Right.
They changed the story, they changed basically the landscape, and they even changed it down to the dungeons when they did their whole world revamp for the expansion.
Did that feel like a business choice to start like reboot everybody over to not lose subscribers, or
not really reboot? I think they just wanted to introduce something fresh.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't really well received.
They addressed that in the Looking for a Group documentary.
I know.
No, I'm just saying.
They can address it all they want.
Right, I'm just saying.
It still wasn't.
Right. No, I'm saying they addressed why they did it.
It just wasn't well received by the general game community. They felt that they put too much resources into revamping the whole world instead of actual content. And stuff got scrapped. So they've made some decisions that cost them 2 million subscribers.
Right.
Over the course of an expansion or two.
Right.
And then when this one came out, they basically got that 2 million back.
Well, this is after, in between that, we had Mists of Pandaria.
Yeah.
Which, in that sense, that particular expansion lost them a lot of subscribers.
The time between the last raid and the beginning of this expansion was about 14 months. So a lot of people, they had a decent sized amount of people that just unsubscribed until something new came out because they were tired of running the same 12 bosses over and over when they had already basically gotten everything from it.
Mm-hmm.
In that sense, from my personal opinion, that is one of those situations where somebody goes in and they do the expansion, like a patch comes down, and they complete the patch within the first 2 weeks without looking at story. They don't do all the quests. They just get to the level and they're done. Like they're done. They don't want to play anymore. We unsubbed because we moved and whatnot, but had we not moved, we wouldn't have unsubbed.
No.
That was like personal financial reasons.
Sure.
I had surgery. We didn't have time. I wouldn't have unsubbed because there was still a lot to do. They added quite a bit to do. It
Well, and
would it run the content.
that makes me go back to why I I like using the comparison, and I like just like the analysis and and critical looking at what has happened with World of Warcraft, because it is so unique at this point. Because how many and why everybody seems to want to try to capture some of that magic, but then they're making content that you're like, there's no way I'm going to play this with it like 2 years from now before the next thing comes out. Like you didn't even come close. So that's why I kind of like wondering how much really is there for people in WoW, you know?
Right. There's a lot. Well, with the new one, there was quite a bit.
Yeah, there's plenty. It's just
it's how you run it.
Mm-hmm.
It truly is. It's how you run it. I see people complain all the time that Warlords of Drainer's dead. Like you go through, you run it, you get Garrison to 3, you get to 100, and you're done. And that's simply not true. There's so much that comes along with having a particular garrison. I don't think I've repeated a garrison campaign, which is where the one main quest giver, the guy who brought you into Draenor, comes in and he's like, I need you to come do this, and I need you to come do that. It's always something new that you have to go do that carries you through the storyline. And I have yet to see like the new quest little trailer cinematic thing that Andrew showed me the other day, where Gul'dan, which is the main bad guy right now, are trying to bring about, it seems like a whole new bad thing, comes in and does another really bad thing. I haven't even seen that yet, and I'm decently through the story. If you're not seeing it and you're not getting through that, then you haven't run the content properly.
Yeah.
You're not done. Just you're not done.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to think that like a Destiny, is gonna pull it off, but I think the economics of it being on the console and the publishers behind it, and even though Activision has got association with World of Warcraft and everything, I think they're gonna somehow Blizzard has managed to keep some of the maybe because of subscription, maybe just sheer money, kept hidden somewhere, but they've managed to keep some of the economics of the business away from them, that they didn't have to. I mean, they don't seem to be dumbing things down. They're not trying to make everything for teens and like 13-year-olds. All these things that seem to keep happening with these console titles. I mean, why didn't Destiny be a PC game? I mean, it doesn't make any sense. And the only thing is that they didn't want to make it they didn't want to make it where people would only then buy it on PC.
Right. Well, Final Fantasy is you can get on PlayStation and on PC.
Mm-hmm.
And it's fantastic. I mean, Andrew got me Final Fantasy, and I'm playing it. It's fantastic. I wouldn't choose that over Warcraft. I never would. But there's a lot of people that say they would. There's a lot of people that say the console is over the PC tremendously when
it's a typical.
It's the typical console people.
Sure.
But the power and the necessary need to have, I think, a PC for an MMO is tremendous. Like, you can't have a proper MMO. You can't play it properly on a console. You can't. There's certain things you have to play an MMO properly, and you can't have it on a console. You just simply can't. And I think that's one of the things that's held Destiny back. I know that if I could play Destiny on the PC, I'd probably play it. I'm pretty sure I could. I certainly could. I tried to play it on with the PS. Mm-hmm. I can't. I simply can't. If it was on the PC, I could. I would have purchased it.
But Blizzard really came in at the right time with Warcraft.
With the need.
I mean, they had the previous games as the real-time strategy.
Yeah, and games. The base already for it.
So they already had kind of a base. but they came out at a good time. It's just like with Pokemon.
It was the same people.
The people that are still playing it now were the ones back in elementary or middle school that played it. I mean, I still got my stuff, and I still play it.
It's the same. It is basically the same base.
They basically got a base, and
they kept it.
They've kept it, and they're making billions off of us a year.
And that's how you do it.
Subscriptions alone.
I honestly think that's how it's been done. That's why I keep telling people their demographic is changing, and because they see that change and they see a new need, they change to meet that need. Like they see that people are going towards, we're saving for our children, so they're going into, well, we're doing gold tokens because we see that you guys can't spend a gazillion amount of hours farming for gold. So, but we do know you're starting to make money now in your lives. So here's gold tokens. You guys can, this is an easy way to legally do
gold selling.
Here's an easy way to do it. Now you guys can do what you need to do in game. Bam. And people who are poor and can't do it, and they always on sub because they can't make rent or they always do their game cards. There you go. They can go ahead and they can buy it because they have a ton of time to be in game because they're losers and they're spending their rent money on game time. Because that's basically that's how I see the gold tokens. The people that are complaining about free to play don't see how that works. If you have a real job and you've seen that and you see people who waste their money like that, then you can see that that's what they're doing.
Do I need this $250 behemoth?
Right.
I guess I won't be eating lunch this week.
Right. If you've been in front of the people standing in line at the Square Enix booth in New York and people are saying, should we not pay rent? Should we not eat? Should we not pay our lights to get this? Okay, we don't need that. And they're standing there with bags and bags and bags of figurines and they're getting the behemoth that costs $250.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah. Do you think that Overwatch will be good? Have some legs? Do you think their reputation is going to hold up that kind of game?
I'll sign up for the beta. I'm not fully sold on it. I'll sign up for the beta and I'll make my full decision on it. But I'm not fully sold because I think it looks too
cartoony.
I think they're selling it for the
style.
Well, no, I think this is very like the Disney Pixar side of them, and I think it's more sold towards the people who are our age or maybe older that have kids that's maybe 10, and they're like, well, we really don't want you playing WoW yet, but there is Overwatch, and before I get home, why don't you log in and play Overwatch instead?
Well, I was going to say it's even more. It's literally Destiny and COD type games.
It's their Team Fortress 2.
Team Fortress 2.
But even that game, that it's the Team Fortress 2. It's even though it's very similar, like a style, but it's still a little more mature. It's Valve does things their own way, and it doesn't have. It's got it's like a little too subcult, like a not it's a little too much of a culture, or not a culture, like its own little world that not everybody appreciates as much,
right?
Because it doesn't have a big story and everything. And I think it's just their way of like saying, hey, we love all these like shooting type games. They all have to take themselves so seriously, I think, is what they're going for.
It might be.
But it could just end up being like, wow, that really had no like fun mechanics to it. That's the only thing I could see.
Yeah, it'll be quite interesting. I mean,
that'll be something where you will have to get.
Yeah, I'll need to get like a gaming mouse and a gaming keyboard for it, because right now I'm just kind of working off of something wireless.
Awesome.
But I will.
Yeah, it'd be fun to try some beta of it for sure.
Yeah, I'll sign up for beta. Kind of like I'm on beta for Heroes of the Storm, and that's fantastic. I didn't know exactly how I feel about it because it looked like it'd be a little odd, but that's wonderful. I am pleased that I've done it. And just I wasn't sure how I'd feel about Hearthstone either, and I love Hearthstone. So, but Blizzard, they see a need and they go for it. Like Overwatch may have just been like the niche that they needed to fill, and they may have just done a lot of focus groups and been like, hey, that's what we need.
Well, that was probably what their Project Titan was.
That it's very possible it's what it could have been.
But it wasn't coming out well, so they switched.
Right. So
I mean, and a lot of the rumors was that Project Titan was supposed to be what Destiny was supposed to be.
And it could have been them kind of, just deciding, oh, it's too much. It still could come down to business. I mean, it's a lot easier to. There's only two routes you can go. You either make a game that is easy to get people on board, and then you come up with a business model that gets people to spend money on it additionally, content-wise, or you make a big, massive game that takes years to make and costs some money, and you get your money right up front, like a BioShock or like a Last of Us or something, where you don't sustain any sort of like audience. It's all at once in a short period of time. It's just
right.
It's great artwork, but it's not a game that 5 years people are still buying, new hats like in Team Fortress,
Right. Well,
I just want a new planet in Destiny.
Right. That's all. Well,
or a new area to go to, because just
see that's the thing with Destiny. I feel like they should have just had more story. I enjoy watching video games. I love it. I always have. That's I think what makes our marriage so great. When we first got married, I love watching video games. It was not a fun game to watch. I just didn't enjoy watching it because
I think
that kind of aggravated when I found out that they cut the other two opening starting zones from the game as well.
Well, I think when you watch enough, YouTube videos and read enough Reddits and just look at what they themselves put out there before the game launched, or at least that probably that before that final year that it launched, they seem to be biting off. They were going big, and it almost like it went. They basically were told, you guys have to stop spending so much money on development and just make the game, and they just kind of backtrack to the point that the game story is barely what it is. And the reason I think
head writer leaves.
I think that was the factor of him basically being told, we want to gut this thing to make it work now.
Yeah,
kind of
so
thing.
I think he. But no, I don't want my name attached to this.
Right, exactly. Like, you guys are making, Activision is telling you a business choice. Now this has just become a business decision to stop making so much content because we need DLC and whatnot, and the game done absolutely in a certain way by this time.
right.
Because there was too much content before from early trailers, and them being at like conferences of saying, well, there's going to be trading and gambling, and I think even if you like don't even analyze and go into deep, like the conspiracy of all the stuff that they put out there, all the artwork they were working on, everything, the fundamental fact that the finished game, without having barely has any cutscenes, which is weird, even for being such a pretty game. Like, how do you not have any?
They had all these high-time celebrities doing the voiceovers, and you barely got anything from them.
So let's say you got like a year before the game comes out, you gut the story, you hash it together, and you probably haven't even hired any of those people other than maybe Peter Dinklage, right? Everybody else has probably been because honestly he probably was the first to be hired and be involved because of his involvement in the story.
Right.
So all the other people that are just like read like half a dozen lines, Nathan Fillion, a bunch of the other people, You're telling me
The
no
Black
one at Bungie, the people that made some of the greatest cinematics in the last 3 Halos, did not say, guys, man, we have all these people. You really can't tell me we can't like crank out one more like longer cutscene at the end of this game that has all of them talking? I don't believe it. I don't believe it at all. Which means we think they basically went from a full Bungie crew to some sort of weird skeleton crew because it was cost cutting and everything.
Yep.
And
a lot of the outrage came when the game got released
And that
and
glitch thing happened.
the game got released. Now he's just ignoring us.
Yeah, he doesn't care. He hates us.
How rude.
what's that? Sorry, I'm getting
I said a lot of the outrage came.
He doesn't care at all. He doesn't care.
I was saying a lot of the outrage came when the game got released with the lack of story that they had, and then the lack of missions, and then someone basically cracked the game and saw everything was already on the disc. They just had it locked, and then they were charging people for stuff that's already on the disc.
True. Which
So basically, they charge people to play a beta, is what it kind of.
or they easily said, take all your content, chop it up so we can sell DLC.
Yeah.
Right.
Which some of that I believe, but at the same time,
If you want to sell,
I rationally think maybe they had to put some of that stuff on there to make the game feel very seamless, which is something they seemed like they were going for.
if you want to sell DLC, that's fine, but have the DLC be like, okay, now here's the comet that's flying around and they're on it. We're going to have some comet missions, or like when you go onto Bungie's website and you look at the Grimoire card and it's talking about Jupiter and Saturn. Have a planet be content. Don't have the missions that are on the disc already on Earth and the Moon
Sure.
as your content. And that's where
Sure.
a lot of people had the problem with, and where I kind of had the problem with. So probably once they get their next batch of downloadable content, the price of Crota and Wolves will probably drop, and then that's probably when I'll get it just to play through it.
True. I mean,
And just be a batch behind, so I'm not paying full price until I can actually see that, hey, maybe they're getting their shit together, and they're actually going to give us a full story,
right.
or at least a decent enough blueprint so we can actually know kind of what's going on.
Yeah, if the 2 DLCs and they have, if the next DLC that's coming out is probably going to have roughly the same amount of content from what everybody's hacked into. If those 3 had all been together as one game, I don't think anybody'd be arguing that it'd be a bad game, because there'd be quite a lot there. It's 3 raids, 25 plus strikes, all these missions, an actual story that kind of could have progressed a little more subtly, and instead it's not that, so.
And then we lost the raid that was in the asteroid belt where we met the Queen just out of the blue, and it's like, what's going on here? Like, why are we even basically...
I don't even know what you're talking about.
I think you were shopping or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it feels very like patched together, and they've shown video that literally shows the brother guy that's in the game in a whole different thing, and supposedly
He's
there's all
doing
these people
stuff behind the scenes.
Yeah, and so supposedly like some game testers and some other people that were involved, in 2003 said that it was a whole different beginning where he was more involved, and you're basically, it was pretty well intent that you get like, you're with a bunch of like kidnapped guardians, and it was really early on, like you really get the sense like, oh, maybe the Traveler's not so good, and it's a little more confusing of what's going on, and you kind of
Yeah, like what people are thinking that he's the one that blew up and basically wiped out mankind, and that you're basically the bad guy. You're the darkness that everyone's. Because you've got the titles Hunter, Warlock, and whatever the tank one is, whereas the quote unquote enemies have more like noble titles,
right.
like Paladin and stuff like that. So it makes it seem like you're basically playing as the bad guy. You just don't know it yet.
Right, which I think is a cool thing, and I think
Twist on it.
the thing I had never thought about that I had seen discussed that made me go, okay, this really does make sense of why there definitely was something controlled by outside forces that made them make the game differently, is that not only did it not come out on the PC, it was going to be console only, but the fact that they basically made that game T for teen, if not, yeah, I think it's T for teen, technically. Whereas all the Halo games are M for mature.
Yeah.
And they dumb down a lot of things, I think, in order to keep that rating, basically, and to go for that earlier demographic as a baseline. Because if the bad guys, if there's like, if it was BioShock level story, kids would not get it and not keep playing it.
No. They just want typical Call of Duty where they can go in and be horrible in PvP and get exotics.
Right. But
while the people that are actually doing all the work get nothing.
But if some kid knows that, oh, the Traveler's the good guy and these are the bad guys, like, I understand that. I don't understand any other subtlety. So all that, like, nuance that would come from this big social, I mean, some of the artwork they, like, design early work they showed for the, like, the cities and the whole population and, like, cool, like, stormtrooper looking, like, there's one shot of, like, a stormtrooper looking like a walker type thing in the middle of like this snowy Diagon back alley that looks like, I want that game.
Like, that's what I wanted.
Yeah, the real red flag should have been when they didn't allow any kind of reviews for the game. They wouldn't let, when it got closer to release, they wouldn't let people play it, and then those that did were basically under NDA and couldn't disclose anything until after the game released.
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
If they wrote the reviews about what the game actually was, then
nobody would buy it.
The game would have tanked. But people still had the thought of what they showed the year before at E3 and all the gaming conventions. Of, here's all this cool stuff. Here's what you're gonna do, and then a year later, 75% of that stuff's gone.
Well, I think we should wrap up our first podcast here. I think we definitely need to have some more World of Warcraft themed podcasts, because I think it's definitely, it hits on a lot of demographics of geekdom, and it's a very fascinating people that do it and why, and just it's such a successful like entity that's built such a a pop or subculture to itself. It's kind of like it's like Apple. It's just got like a lot of extra baggage to it.
It does.
It's really fascinating to like analyze and talk about and just see how much it connects to other things that you don't even realize over the last 10 years or so, which has been the big rise of geekdom in a way.
Are you getting an Apple Watch?
No.
Are you going to?
You say Apple.
If you're going to spend a fortune on the 10,000 on the 10 carat.
I'm not going to spend like not a fortune on anything. It's still a watch.
I'm going to get my watch from the 25-cent machine.
I just don't. I didn't see anything that made me go, wow, that's fundamentally different to me. I'd rather just been like make a high-end version and a really low-end version that costs like $200.
Yeah.
Don't make a bunch of like couple $100,000 like items, because now you're really just saying we are only selling this to people that just can afford it all like already to buy something way better than a $50 watch in the first place.
Right.
Yeah.
We're only selling these to people who need
Here's
nothing.
the basic watch, and then if you want a cool band, we'll charge you $10,000 for the
Right.
armband for it because it's got 18 karat gold. Bitch, what do I need
It's
that for?
it's a whole weird thing because it's literally saying like it's a weird thing of like it does so much like our phone, like you're not going to need our phone. Like wait, what? Like it's
Then
just
you, and then,
very strange.
and then if you
It's a very
read the
strange
stuff, a
thing.
lot of, and then if you read the stuff about it, you have to have an iPhone with it to be able to
Right.
fully.
But then
use the
your
watch.
phone is gonna not. You're not using the phone, so it's
You
weird.
just have to have your phone within the vicinity of your watch.
Right.
to
Keep
be
your
able
phone in your back pocket.
use your
so
watch
it will
as a-
bend.
keep your phone so you can use your watch as a phone.
Yeah,
So you
it's
just-
weird. It's just
no,
it's strange. It's so
It's
strange.
not a $10,000
So,
watch. It's a $10,600 watch because you have to keep your bent phone in your pocket. So you have no idea. You can use that when you ride around a new Apple car.
And lose it on the mummy.
Right.
So yeah, so I think we'll wrap up because it is now Walking Dead time. So
It's been Walking Dead time.
it's
been
9:30.
Walking Dead time. I know. So, and the nice thing is that Walking Dead will be over soon, and then Game of Thrones will start up. So it's like Sundays are locked in for a while. Because then they'll have the other Walking Dead series by the time Game of Thrones is done. So
That's true.
And that's going to be in LA, right?
yes, that's like it's supposed to be this summer. I don't know if it's this summer or next summer it comes out. I think it's 2016. So maybe not this summer.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see when it takes place.
Yeah, because it kind of sounds like it's going to be like right early on after, which would explain maybe why they're needing more time because there's probably a lot of extra production value.
Might change.
Like,
Yeah.
because you can't have the first series have all these kind of cool zombie moments, and then you're saying, oh, this is like when there's this big epidemic of people that were still around and all this craziness, and you have like 5 guys in the woods somewhere. It's not going to work,
Yeah.
Right. Not at all.
No. So if you're going to shoot in LA and you're going to have these big, you're expecting these big army just moments of pandemonium, Resident Evil kind of craziness,
It'll be interesting if they do it well. Or it could fall flat on its
It
face.
could just be horrible.
It could.
Either way.
Yeah, I'll watch it. Either way, it's fun.
I think the only nice thing will be that they are not tied to the comic. So all those things that Robert Kirkman wish he had done or has in the back of his head that he wants to do in the comic,
he'll be able to do it fine.
Because he doesn't have to explain off killing another character or doing this or that. He's just got like a blank slate a little bit for them to go.
He can do what he wants as opposed to having to answer 1,000 questions from just nerds that have to have
Why'd
answers.
you kill so-and-so?
Right.
Why'd you kill
Right. Yeah. He won't have to answer to anybody, and I think that'll be the best part. That's what needs to happen. Like they need to get in front of the comics for the series altogether, I think.
Mm-hmm. Or get in front and then go in a different direction.
Right.
Have the show go one way and have the comics go the other.
Right. All right. We'll let you go so you can get to your Walking Dead.
Oh yeah, no problem. So yes, thank you for joining us on our first podcast. We're gonna eventually need some good outro, good like line or theme music on our way out. Eventually. So, but thank you for joining us and have a great day.
Yeah. We should always do the Pikachu test. Test Pikachu test.
Test Pikachu.
Because I just have him just like sitting there, and all awesome. I think about is Pikachu test.
Pikachu test. Okay, we can do that. Okay, have a good one, guys.
Okay, you too. Bye.